Tom Riddle's Diary, 1943. In 1943, 16-year-old Tom Riddle created his first Horcrux from the murder of Myrtle Warren, killed by the basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets. Because he commanded the serpent in Parseltongue, her death met the lethal requirement for Horcrux creation. Riddle had located the chamber's hidden entrance behind a sink in the second-floor girls' bathroom, deliberately targeting a Muggle-born to echo Slytherin's purity ideals. Unlike his later Horcruxes, the diary was designed as a functional weapon. Riddle enchanted it to hold a preserved version of his 16-year-old self, capable of communicating, learning, and possessing others. This fragment could also draw victims into a fully interactive reconstruction of Hogwarts in 1943, allowing him to manipulate events and perceptions inside the memory. Riddle intended the diary to be used decades later to reopen the chamber and unleash the basilisk again. He gave it to Lucius Malfoy without revealing its true nature, both to hide it and to test Malfoy's loyalty. Malfoy eventually slipped it into Ginny Weasley's possession in 1992, triggering the plan Riddle had set in motion nearly 50 years earlier.
And I thought your family could sink no lower.
Marvolo Gaunt's Ring, 1943. Later in 1943, Tom Riddle created his second Horcrux using the murder of his father, Tom Riddle Sr., and his paternal grandparents. He learned of their existence while visiting his uncle Morphin Gaunt, who wore an old family ring set with a black stone. Morphin revealed the Riddle's home was nearby, and that Riddle Sr. had abandoned Riddle's mother. Enraged, Riddle murdered all three Riddles in their manor with the Killing Curse, framing Morphin by altering his memory and stealing both the ring and his wand. The ring was a Gaunt heirloom and, unknown to Riddle, the Resurrection Stone, one of the three Deathly Hallows. Its Peveril crest linked directly to his own ancestry, a fact he never uncovered. He embedded a soul fragment into the ring, valuing it for its bloodline significance as much as its rarity. Riddle wore the ring briefly, but soon hid it in the Gaunt shack, using elaborate curses to protect it. One of these, a lethal enchantment, would later curse Albus Dumbledore's hand almost beyond saving. The hiding place reflected Riddle's belief in the shack's obscurity. It was both a site of his maternal heritage and somewhere he assumed no one would think to look for such a powerful magical artifact. Helga Hufflepuff's Cup, 1956 to 1957. In the late 1950s, Tom Riddle targeted Hepzibah Smith, a wealthy collector of magical artifacts and a distant descendant of Helga Hufflepuff. While working for Borgin and Burkes, Riddle was sent to her home under the guise of evaluating her collection. Hepzibah revealed two treasures to him, Helga Hufflepuff's cup and Salazar Slytherin's locket. The cup, bearing Hufflepuff's badger emblem, was famed for its enchantments to aid food production, reflecting Helga's gift for nurturing and abundance. Riddle's interest in the cup was not only its founder connection, but its symbolic rarity. No known founder relic outside Gryffindor's sword was in public knowledge. Within days of the visit, Hepzibah was found dead from poisoning, and her house elf Hoki was framed using a manipulated memory. Riddle stole both the cup and locket, vanishing without suspicion. Hufflepuff's cup became a Horcrux immediately after Hepzibah's murder. Riddle's choice signified his obsession with collecting relics tied to Hogwarts founders, each representing what he saw as magical supremacy. He eventually entrusted the cup to Bellatrix Lestrange for safekeeping in her high-security Gringotts vault, hidden under complex goblin enchantments and multiplying curse protections. The vault's defenses were intended to make the cup unreachable without Bellatrix's explicit permission, or an extraordinary magical heist. Salazar Slytherin's locket, 1956 to 1957. The same visit to Hepzibah Smith that secured Helga Hufflepuff's cup also led to Tom Riddle acquiring Salazar Slytherin's locket. This heirloom had been passed down through the Gaunt family from Slytherin himself and was originally owned by Riddle's mother, Merope Gaunt. She had sold it in desperation to Borgin and Burkes decades earlier. Hepzibah had purchased it from the shop for her collection, unaware of its full history or magical potency. Riddle viewed the locket as both a personal reclamation of family heritage and a direct link to Slytherin's bloodline. After murdering Hepzibah and framing her house elf Hoki, he stole the locket along with the cup. The murder supplied the necessary act for creating a Horcrux, and he embedded part of his soul into the locket shortly afterward. Its concealment was elaborate. Riddle eventually hid it in a sea cave he had visited as a child, choosing a location tied to his earliest acts of cruelty against others. The locket was placed in a basin filled with a potion that caused extreme weakness, hallucinations, and thirst, guarded by Inferi lurking in the surrounding waters. This combination of personal symbolism and layered magical defense reflected Riddle's tendency to anchor his Horcruxes in places of deep, often disturbing significance to his own past. Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem, early 1970s. In the early 1970s, Tom Riddle tracked down Rowena Ravenclaw's lost diadem, a relic believed to enhance the wisdom of its wearer. Its whereabouts had been unknown for centuries, hidden by Helena Ravenclaw, Rowena's daughter, who became the ghost known as the Grey Lady. Riddle, using his charisma and legitimacy, persuaded her to reveal that she had hidden the diadem in a forest in Albania before her death. Recovering the diadem gave Riddle the final founder relic he sought, completing the symbolic set he believed would make his soul fragments almost impossible to destroy. The murder used to create this Horcrux has never been explicitly identified, but Rowling has confirmed it was committed abroad, likely during his travels recruiting followers and researching dark magic. Riddle chose an unexpected hiding place, the Room of Requirement at Hogwarts. He had learned of it during his time as a student, making him one of the few who understood its vanishing property. Inside the castle, in the room's version used for storing abandoned objects, he hid the diadem among centuries of forgotten possessions. This was one of his most dangerous placements, concealed in plain sight within the very school whose founder's relic it was, and in a magical space almost no one knew how to access deliberately. Harry Potter as an unintentional Horcrux, 1981. On the night of 31st October 1981, Voldemort traveled to Godric's Hollow to kill the infant Harry Potter after hearing part of Sybil Trelawney's prophecy. He murdered James and Lily Potter, then attempted the killing curse on Harry. Lily's deliberate sacrifice invoked an ancient form of protective magic that caused the curse to rebound. Voldemort's body was destroyed, but a fragment of his already unstable soul latched onto the only living thing in the room, Harry. This Horcrux was accidental, breaking Voldemort's own rule of carefully chosen objects tied to significant heritage. The soul fragment bonded to Harry so completely that it granted him abilities beyond ordinary wizards, including the power to speak Parseltongue and a mental connection to Voldemort's thoughts and emotions. The lightning-shaped scar on Harry's forehead became the physical mark of this link. Unknown to both at the time, this Horcrux was unique. Unlike inanimate vessels, Harry's living soul could not be dominated entirely. The connection worked both ways, enabling Voldemort to sense Harry under certain emotional extremes, but also allowing Harry to experience visions of Voldemort's actions. This link would later become a strategic vulnerability for Voldemort, giving Harry insight into his movements and state of mind during the Second Wizarding War. Destruction of the Diary, 1992. In June 1993, during the events of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Tom Riddle's diary was destroyed in the chamber itself. By that point, the Horcrux had nearly succeeded in possessing Ginny Weasley, using her to open the chamber and release the basilisk. Each time Ginny confided in the diary, Riddle's preserved memory siphoned more of her life force, strengthening his own presence in the physical world. When Harry Potter confronted the memory of Riddle, the basilisk attacked under Riddle's command. With the help of Fawkes the Phoenix and Godric Gryffindor's sword, Harry killed the basilisk and retrieved one of its fangs. Knowing basilisk venom is one of the few substances capable of destroying a Horcrux, he stabbed the diary through its pages. The venom irreparably damaged the piece of Voldemort's soul inside, breaking its magical link. The destruction caused Riddle's memory form to disintegrate instantly. This was the first Horcrux destroyed in the series, though neither Harry nor Dumbledore yet understood its full significance. A key detail is that the diary's destruction also proved Horcruxes could be neutralized without complex rituals, information that would later guide the strategy for eliminating the remaining soul fragments. Destruction of the Ring, 1996. In the summer of 1996, Albus Dumbledore located Marvolo Gaunt's ring in the abandoned Gaunt shack. By this point, Voldemort had hidden it there under powerful curses, including a lethal enchantment designed to kill anyone who wore it. The ring's dual nature made it exceptionally dangerous. It was both a Horcrux and the Resurrection Stone, one of the Deathly Hallows. Voldemort never discovered its true identity as a Hallow. He valued it purely for its Gaunt lineage and connection to Slytherin. Dumbledore, tempted by the Resurrection Stone's ability to summon shades of the dead, put the ring on in a moment of weakness. The curse spread rapidly through his hand and would have killed him within hours had Severus Snape not contained it, though the damage was irreversible. Knowing he had little time, Dumbledore destroyed the Horcrux portion immediately. He used Godric Gryffindor's sword, which had absorbed basilisk venom from Harry's earlier battle with the serpent, ensuring the soul fragment was completely destroyed. The ring's cracked stone remained intact but inert as a magical artifact. This destruction marked the second Horcrux eliminated chronologically, though Dumbledore withheld most details from Harry until the final year of their fight against Voldemort. Destruction of the Locket, May 1997. In late 1996, Harry, Ron, and Hermione recovered Salazar Slytherin's locket from Dolores Umbridge at the Ministry of Magic, but its destruction didn't occur until May 1997 during their time on the run. The locket, retrieved originally from the cave where Voldemort had hidden it, had been stolen by Regulus Black, who left a false copy in its place. Kreacher, the Black family's house elf, had been ordered by Regulus to attempt to destroy it but could not, as its defenses resisted all ordinary magic. While wearing the locket, its influence magnified negative emotions, feeding on doubt, anger, and division. This effect nearly fractured the group's unity. The destruction finally came after Ron Weasley rejoined Harry and Hermione, having left during a period of tension exacerbated by the Horcruxes' influence. Ron used Godric Gryffindor's sword, retrieved from the bottom of a frozen pond where it had been placed by Dumbledore's portrait for Harry. The sword's basilisk venom permanently destroyed the soul fragment. Notably, before striking, the Horcrux defended itself by projecting illusions of Harry and Hermione to exploit Ron's insecurities, an advanced defensive reaction that revealed Voldemort's instinctive cruelty embedded even in his soul fragments. Destruction of the Cup, May 1998. During the Battle of Hogwarts, Harry, Ron, and Hermione broke into Bellatrix Lestrange's high-security Gringotts vault to retrieve Helga Hufflepuff's cup. The vault was protected by the Gemino curse, which caused every touched object to multiply and burn with searing heat, rapidly filling the space. Riding the half-blind dragon guarding the lower levels, they escaped with the cup, the only known Horcrux to be kept under Goblin protection. Hermione destroyed it later that same day in the Chamber of Secrets. Having realized the basilisk's skeleton still lay there, she and Ron retrieved one of its fangs. Basilisk venom, being a permanent corrosive magical toxin, could penetrate the powerful enchantments safeguarding a Horcrux. Hermione stabbed the cup, and the venom destroyed the embedded soul fragment. The choice to destroy it in the chamber was strategic. It was isolated, free from interference, and provided a guaranteed source of venom without risking further combat with a live basilisk. This was also the first Horcrux Hermione personally destroyed, and its elimination marked a turning point in the battle, as Voldemort became increasingly aware that his defenses were failing. The destruction significantly weakened him, though he misattributed the cause to the loss of his forces. Destruction of the Diadem, May 1998. Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem was destroyed during the Battle of Hogwarts, just hours after the cup's elimination. Harry located it in the Room of Requirement, transformed into its Room of Hidden Things state, an enormous labyrinth of abandoned possessions amassed over centuries. Voldemort had concealed it there decades earlier. Confident in the room's secrecy and the obscurity of the diadem's legend, Harry, Ron, and Hermione were confronted by Draco Malfoy, Vincent Crabbe, and Gregory Goyle. The fight escalated when Crabbe, attempting to kill Harry, conjured Fiendfire, a cursed magical fire that burns with near sentience and consumes anything in its path, including nearly indestructible magical objects. Unable to control it, Crabbe perished in the blaze. Before the fire consumed the diadem completely, Harry stabbed it with a basilisk fang he had taken from the Chamber of Secrets. The venom began destroying the soul fragment instantly, and the Fiendfire's magical intensity annihilated the remaining trace. The destruction caused a psychic shock to Voldemort, though he remained unaware of exactly which Horcrux had been lost. The diadem's elimination reduced his soul's stability further, making his mental state increasingly volatile during the final stages of the battle. Destruction of the Horcrux in Harry, May 1998. During the climax of the Battle of Hogwarts, Voldemort, unaware that Harry contained a fragment of his soul, lured him to the Forbidden Forest. Harry, having pieced together the truth from Dumbledore's memories and Snape's dying revelations, willingly sacrificed himself to ensure the Horcrux inside him would be destroyed. When Voldemort cast the Killing Curse, the protective magic from Lily Potter's sacrifice, renewed when Harry had spared Draco and Malfoy Manor, shielded Harry's soul from destruction while allowing the parasitic soul fragment to be obliterated. This unique interaction meant Harry survived a direct Avada Kedavra without being a true master of the Hallows at that point. Harry's consciousness was transported to a liminal King's Cross state, where he encountered a restored Dumbledore and the maimed, fetal form of the destroyed soul fragment. Unlike inanimate Horcruxes, the living host's soul rejected complete domination, allowing for the fragment's clean removal without destroying the vessel. This was the only Horcrux destroyed without a physical object being damaged, and it left Harry free of the psychic link to Voldemort. Voldemort, believing Harry dead, inadvertently gave his enemies a vital morale advantage when Harry returned to the fight moments later. Destruction of Nagini, May 1998. Nagini, Voldemort's snake and final Horcrux, was both a living creature and a constant companion, kept under his direct protection. She became a Horcrux after the murder of Bertha Jorkins in 1994, chosen for her symbolic association with Voldemort's own serpent-like identity and her role as a weapon in his arsenal. Unlike his other Horcruxes, Voldemort kept Nagini close at all times during the Second Wizarding War, often shielding her inside a protective enchantment known as the Protective Casing spell. By the final hours of the Battle of Hogwarts, she was the last remaining soul fragment. Voldemort, aware of the threat to his Horcruxes, confined her within a magical barrier conjured from a circle of flame while he fought in the Great Hall. Neville Longbottom, fulfilling the role Dumbledore had hinted he might play, drew Godric Gryffindor's sword from the Sorting Hat, a feat possible only for a true Gryffindor in a moment of need. Using the basilisk venom embedded in the blade from Harry's earlier battle, Neville decapitated Nagini with a single stroke. Her death shattered the final safeguard on Voldemort's mortality. From that moment onward, he was fully mortal, and his fate depended solely on the outcome of the duel that followed. Voldemort's final defeat hinged on one spell, Avada Kedavra. It's said to be unstoppable, yet the series shows moments where it failed, rebounded, or acted in unexpected ways. In our next video, we break down every time the Killing Curse behaved differently and why. Watch every time Avada Kedavra behaved differently in Harry Potter Explained in Detail.